My name is Pam W. I'm a compulsive overeater and multiply cross addicted, but the one that I have to keep the most focus on is my addiction to compulsive eating. And I'm abstinent today, which is 3 meals weighed and measured from the gray sheet. I write them down each day in a little 3x5 notebook. I wish I had to show you. And I call it into my sponsor on time every morning. And there's something another gray sheeter says I like. She says I make a call when weird things happen. If I can't commit what I said I would eat, I committed to. I get back to my sponsor or somebody else with 90 days or more. I'm not sponsoring myself on this. It's brilliant what we do, in my opinion. So yeah, nothing in between those 3 committed meals besides approved liquids, which is, black coffee, black tea, or diet soda, which I don't drink because I'm addicted to all of them. So I actually I can do tea, that I'm not, but I don't do it between meals. So let's see. Yeah, the most important thing in my life is my gray sheet abstinence. If I don't have that, my life is so wonderful and full of great stuff. And it is so not wonderful and full of bad stuff if I'm in the food. Or even I was able, because on April 12th, I celebrated 35 years of back-to-back gray sheet abstinence. Thank you. And thank you for being so nice. I love gray sheeters. Listen, I know I look like HELL, but I cut my hair too short today. I don't know I haven't cut my hair for a couple of years. I've had a lot of health issues and kind of weird. I was, in some sort of unconscious state. Anyway, but I had gray sheeters overlooking. They already found out ahead of time from me, you're not allowed to put sugar in my intravenous, things in the hospital. You're not allowed to put sugar in that. You're not allowed to put sugar in anything of mine. Even if I'm not conscious, I got people helping me stay abstinent. And I love when they say here, there's always a way to be abstinent. I've had some weird stuff happen. There were 2 months when I couldn't keep water down a couple of years ago. I couldn't keep water down, but I stayed in touch with my sponsor. I lost 20 pounds in 2 months. I lost every muscle on my body. I couldn't walk from the bathroom to the bedroom or back. My husband had to put me in a wheelchair and wheel me because I had no muscles. But my sponsor supported me while we found a way for me to start getting a little bit of food down at a time and more. I put the weight back on. I'm walking, been walking, not running, and I'm not walking the way I'd like to, but I'm 81 years old now. So, that's a factor, because I like to joke about this. It's not very funny, but the medical profession has tried to kill me several times and I'm still here. And I'm working very, very hard on wiping away any resentments toward the medical profession, because they're just people like me. And anything I accuse them of, I can guarantee you I'm guilty of it too. I can guarantee you if I have a resentment, I could turn it around and say, I'm guilty of that too. Anyway, I think I'm not saying the stuff I wanted to say. This is supposed to be what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. Okay, what it was like. I was never normal around food in my whole life. The doctor put me on skim milk before I was a year old. But my family were all alcoholics. They weren't, I didn't have access to the foods a free access. And there wasn't a lot of them around in the day that in 1943, when I was born, people weren't all, most of the population wasn't obese. They weren't eating foods with all fake foods and stuff as now. So I had some work to go about, but I thank God I never got shamed. My mother never shamed me. for raiding the stuff she hid so that we'd have it next time she wanted a dessert for the family. She never shamed me for anything, except I wasn't allowed to cry. That was, very serious. Like, what? Don't cry. I'll give you something to cry for. But aside from that, and she didn't make me feel like yeah, to this day, if I start to cry, I stop breathing, I hide my face, and I'm like conditioned, you're not allowed to cry, but you can, but everything else you do is just fine, Annie. So, oh, let's see. But I did, and I always, when I would come to OA meetings and GreySheet meetings and hear about people stealing food, I didn't see myself as stealing food, and I actually didn't steal it from a personal friend. If I babysat, and I was a great babysitter, and I loved babysitting, and I would empty out the refrigerator, but I thought that was part of babysitting. I didn't realize that was taking their food. And I was a mother's helper one summer, and the father of these two little boys came downstairs and said to me, he said, because I would empty out, the bag of what. And in the middle of the night, he said, could you just leave me two in the bottom of the bag? Just leave me two. No problem. I always left two after that. I still ate the whole bag, but I left two for the kid's father. And that was, I didn't see it like, I don't know. See, I figured out recently in a test I took, confirmed it, that I'm on the autism spectrum. So I don't get things that other normal people get, even though I'm supposed to be really smart. But there's stuff I just don't get, like, that's stealing, when you empty somebody's, but it isn't. I mean, so that's that. Was I like other, and quite young, I didn't take a drink that wasn't an alcoholic drink either. My first drink, at a holiday meal, and was 8 years old, and I never took my eyes off that bottle again. Never. I didn't have access for a while. Didn't have access till I was like on a regular basis till I was 15 or 16, and when I, but anyway, I'm addicted to, smoke. By the time I quit, I was 4 packs a day. It's like the long, long list. But I want you to know that when I just kindly 12-stepped into AA in 1973 from Al-Anon, there were two really profound, important things I heard about addiction. One, in my first AA meeting, I heard, this is not a moral issue. This is a disease like the measles. Some people die from the measles, some people don't. It's not a moral issue, it's a disease. And I thought, And somebody also said at that meeting, where's the head drunk? And got told, there is no head drunk. We're it. I thought, very nice, because I was a little bit of a secret defiant person. But so then let's see, next thing, a couple of days later at a beginners meeting, I can see him to this day, 51 years later. This guy said, this is the disease that tells me I don't have a disease. This is the disease that tells me I don't have a disease. That's a big deal. I thought, big deal. I better pay attention if that's true. And why would he say it if it wasn't true? And, I was very fortunate in being led into a position where I was just guided to listen to people's stories. And the guy who from my Al-Anon group 12 stepped me into AA, he was in AA as well, said he stayed up till 3:30 in the morning with me, trying to help me begin my journey. And I'm telling you all this about AA because I feel that GreySheet is AA for the food, and I don't know of anything like it. And I want to help it stay like AA for the food, which means nobody ever judged me. Everybody tried to make me feel welcome. Nobody pushed me to do the steps ever. I think they're brilliant. I'm grateful to have them in my life, but it's not the way I stopped drinking, and it's not the way I stopped overeating. Step one, yes. Yeah. Am I powerless over food? Yeah. If I don't get that, I'll never get it. But, and can I do this alone? No, I can see that by myself, the disease wins. It convinces me I don't have it. And it just this one, just this time, I'll just do it this one last time. Okay, fine. We'll be crazy. But when I listen to you and identify with you, I can do either, save myself by realizing I'm one too, or I can care, it brings up my own first step for me to hear a newcomer or somebody struggling or somebody suffering that I desperately want to help, and because I'm in this program, I have a way to do it. I couldn't help. You can't help somebody who doesn't want it. I couldn't help my family members. They all, but anyway, what? I better hurry up. So what happened? After I stopped drinking and 2 years later couldn't inhale the cigarettes anymore, I stopped smoking and went to smoke enders. They told us, if you don't stop the coffee, you'll be back to the cigarettes. So I stopped those two. So what was left? No alcohol, no coffee, no cigarettes. Nothing was left but the FOOD. Oh dear. And I just blew up like this. I had really kept it under a somewhat of control. I was still, let me put it this way, I was still thin enough to have sex with almost 300 guys before I stopped counting. Oh my God, was that another compulsion? Oh dear. Yes, well, the list is very long, I guarantee you. But I couldn't do that anymore when I wasn't drinking, I guarantee you. But they didn't even want me anymore when I got that big. So that was that. Now let's see what happened. So the food, I desperately, when I first went to OA around 1972, everybody was thin. There were 2 meetings a week in New York. Everybody was thin. And they only had one food plan. It was the Gray Sheet. And when I went back in 1975, 1976, when I, had gotten sober, stopped smoking and drinking coffee, there were 9 additional food plans. Instead of 2 meetings a week in New York City, there were 45. And guess what? 19 out of 20 people in the room were FAT, fat. Oh my goodness. What happened? Well, they were all getting to be good little girls. They were all focused on big book step studies, big book weekend, 300-pound women leading big book workshops on the weekend and step study workshops. They were getting to be holier and holier, but they were also getting fatter and fatter and adding more and more food plans with the foods we avoid. Anyway, I had that wonderful experience of having gone to the, early OA meetings where it only had the Gray Sheet. And I said that for carbohydrate sensitive people, man-made sugars and carbs, starches are, man-made sugars and starches. Oh my, I can know this one by heart, but anyway, we can't do it, is what it says on the Gray Sheet. And I said, that's me, I'll be back. And when I came back, like I said, there were all those other, but I never, part of me always knew it was, I can't do the sugars, grains, and man-made carbohydrates. I really can't do them. So, well, it took me a long time to get back. I got abstinent different ways, really basically on the Gray Sheet and weighing and measuring, but not the way we do it. And when I, let's see, so when I finally came back to found for the first time our little Gray Sheet meetings in New York, I said, oh my goodness, these people are not nearly spiritual enough for me.
1 minute left.
Thank you. I'll try to do it quickly. But I said, but it clearly works. I'll stay till I find something better. And after, maybe a week or two later, one of the women said the most spiritual thing in the meeting I do in a day is put my food, on a scale and in a cup 3 times a day. And it went through my whole body. And I said, yes, that's a fact for her, for me. And it has taken away obsession. I obsessed. I was abstaining, losing weight, and keeping it off for 7 years before I got here. And I did not have peace of mind. I did not enjoy my food. we fight the food with the food and it's awesome. And thanks for listening. I look forward to hearing from you.